Everything you think you're saying with your body. Your body is telling us everything. The body will never ever lie to us. Your words might lie to us. You might say something out your mouth, but your body, your actions will always, right? Absolute term. Your body will always give you away.
Roll me, Mac.
What do you believe is the biggest challenge or hurdle that men face today? The biggest hurdle challenge is, I would say, understanding what it is to even be man. And by that, there's been changes in our society as far as how a man is to carry himself. And we've seen it very prominent in the last 40 years. But more so a man being more passive, right? Us as men being more passive. And I can say that I remember a time where I was definitely trying to people please and essentially turning into the son that my significant other, lady I was seeing, didn't have. A grown person that, was trying to appease her every waking desire, everything she wanted, whatever she needed. I was going to try to do that. And for us men, it seems very simple. For some of us, it seems as if, all right, well, all I have to do is what she asks, and life is good. That's as simple as a man can get. However, there is a time where it would be nice if you did it without me asking. And there that goes. There's that fucking riddle of there's that mystery of human relations, where it's like it'd be better if we just said what we wanted, said what we needed. But there are times where some women would like to feel that you are in tune with them. You know what I'm saying? And while all that's great and good, assumptions, are endless. Assumptions are endless. So I can perceive that you would rather do it yourself, but then I turn around and just let that happen. And then now there's this, I'm asking you, if you're okay, and you're saying nothing when clearly your energy is saying everything. And some people believe, and it's not just even with just women to do that. I would say a lot of us, like us males, when we operate in our feminine, we want our spouse to kind of just figure out what the fuck is wrong with us to prove their love to us, which is the most, it's a retarded way of thinking, but that's a child's that's something a child would do, regardless whether it's man or woman. It's something a child would do. But in that case, it's like I want them to know without knowing type thing, on some, I don't know, martial arts type knowledge to have in your mind. But there's this thing where, all right, well, you know what? I'm going to try to take charge in our relationship. I'm going to take charge in dating you and all this stuff. And then you get hit with the, well, I don't need a man to do this for me. Okay. So here's the hurdle. Another part to the hurdle is like, you want to still be courted in a traditional manner, but you want to do non-traditional shit. As far as like, I got it. You don't want nobody to open your door for you. You don't want anybody to, you know, to as far as saying, hey, I would like for you to wear this, you know, for this outing or whatever it is. But when it comes time to certain other things, now you want tradition. So, and it's a total conundrum. It's a mind fuck, if you will. Like having someone that has these sometimes unrealistic expectations of you, and then when you attempt to lead, when you attempt to do what considered to be courting, or, you know, trying to show chivalry and all that stuff, I got it. I'm my own woman. I'm strong and independent. The most toxic shit I believe a woman can say, because why do you have to announce it? How would that be if a man walked into a room and said, I'm the alpha male, I'm strong, and I'm all this shit? No, you don't have to say it. It's evident. We can see it in your behavior. Everything you think you're saying with your body. Your body is telling us everything. The body will never, ever lie to us. Your words might lie to us. You might say something out your mouth, but your body, your actions will always, right? Absolute term. Your body will always give you away. And it's just how we're wired as humans. But I find that to be like a hurdle, man. I think that's a hurdle because it's like, all right, well, we want to be whatever it is just to get you. And that's a lot of the case, you know. A lot of guys are believing that they have to get this thing in order to get this thing, you know. And building that up, and how society has changed over time, where this used to be enough, you know what I'm saying? A typical 9 to 5 and all that stuff, and you know, you come home, take care of your family, all that was good. And then it came time where women started to get 6-figure jobs and all that stuff too, which is fine. That's great. Love all of that. But how are you going to feel when you're with a woman who makes more money than you? And that's the case for some of us, you know what I'm saying, based off of the profession that they fell into. So it's like, all right, well, how do I navigate that? How is she going to behave? You know, and this is my mindset, and I spoke about it a few times on previous shows from previous years, but a woman making more than you is not the issue. It's the mentality that comes with that once she makes the money, and that's another hurdle. And finances, from my understanding, I've never been married, but finances becomes an issue a lot of times, as far as like whose money's this and whose money's that and all that. And then like so now you have so some situations you have women that are the breadwinner, right? They are the breadwinner, and then they want to give a role of authoritarian to a man that is not equipped with those skills, right? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that's not a reliable leader, that lacks leadership skills, but you want him so bad to do that. And that's that there is a struggle, because his insecurities are gonna they seep out, and then you have to do everything. You know, you're that woman that does everything for your family, but you give the man of the house all the credit for whatever reason that is. I'm not going to assume why it's done, but there's that. And then there's the opposite, you know. Then there's the guy that is like the breadwinner, and then what he does is end up in a relationship with a woman that's like, ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do and all that other shit. So it's like, all right, well, I'm attempting to lead you. I'm attempting to show you that you're covered, you're protected, and all these things, but you are hell-bent and determined on just being very defensive and keeping up the resting bitch face and operating in your masculine and all those things. And it's like, all we want to do is just be there for you, to cover you and all that stuff. But because of what you've been through, you're not allowing that type of love in. And all of us are guilty of like rejecting an unfamiliar form of love that might even be healthy to us. But it's because of what we're used to, man. We're in survival mode, man. But yeah, I see that as a hurdle for us as men to kind of figure out how are you supposed to gauge women in today's society? How are you supposed to carry yourself without coming off as some, that bullshit toxic masculinity or what have you? There's that. I'm speaking from my standpoint of somebody that is, that like dating and whatnot. I'm not married. So I would say, like, males like myself, how do you engage like that? How do you carry yourself? Me personally, I've decided that I'm just going to do that. I am going to lead, no matter what. I'm going to die on my shield with, as far as like a man is to lead. If he's going to engage with a woman, he's going to lead. And if a woman's going to engage with a man, she's going to allow him to lead. Otherwise, she's going to lead, and then it's going to lead to resentment. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid anyone feeling like someone's been had. And to give that type of release, to give that, take the pressure off, that feeling, I believe that us as men are meant to take on some stuff, but not all of what comes. But as far as like making decisions, when it comes to planning, when it comes to like, setting up dates and all that stuff, I believe that is more us to set the date. That's my mindset, and I stand by that. I'm stubborn and determined when it comes to that whole ordeal, that I am going to be the one to set the date. But it's important for me to inquire, to research, to ask questions to that young lady as far as like what she's into. So it's not like asking her to go to fucking, monster truck rally and she ain't into the shit. You know what I'm saying? That type of thing, like has no interest, or something that I think is like of interest to her, and then we sitting in there and none of us enjoy the shit. But listening, that is it's a skill. It's helpful with that hurdle challenge that us men sometimes can go through. But just figuring out, all right, am I to show leadership here? Am I to show that I got it? Or am I to, back up, be passive and all that shit? So then there's that. So when you decide that, all right, she got it, I'm gonna let her do it. And then there's that later on being upset because you did not act on something, but you wanted to do it. You pretty much carry yourself like, I got it. Like, there's nobody trying to help a man. If a man is carrying like a lot of bags and shit and he acting like I got it, ain't nobody trying to help them. It's the same thing for a woman. When you act like can't nobody help you and don't nobody want to do nothing for you, eventually people gonna stop. They're gonna stop trying to help you, and then you be upset because some will be upset. Excuse me, I don't say everybody, collective. But then you'll have that whole thing where I'm upset and you feel like, oh, you didn't help me. But you carry yourself like you got it. And you get upset when people try to help you. Can't have it both ways. I know that. I've done that. I did that in my 20s. I was very much like very defensive, man. I'm sure my best friend can vouch for that. Like, he tried to help me so many times early on in our friendship, you know what I'm saying? And I just kept being on the defense. Nah, I'm good, man. Why you always asking? That type of shit. And eventually people gonna stop. They're gonna stop trying to ask you if you need help with some shit. And then you play victim, like, why y'all ain't help me? So it's like, no, you gave us enough hints, and we finally took the hint that you don't want my motherfucking help. So that's just what it is. But there's that confusion, man. And there's commonly, like I said, where some women where there's that whole thing, I got it. But they're used to saying I got it, and used to people not showing up for them and not caring for them. So it's understandable, but after a while, it's going to the asking, inquiring is going to stop. So it's just gauge it, gauge it cautiously, is what I would say. about that. But yeah, those hurdles as far as like how are we to carry ourselves in today's society, what it is to be man, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that mean to be a man? Like, I'm the man of the house or whatever. You don't have to announce it, but you know that feeling that you get inside. How am I to carry myself? What is it that is considered to be toxic? What is that about? You know, just being there. There's many perspectives as far as like what a man is. You can tell that just by a lot of the things that a lot of us males do when we believe we're being a man. Like, some of us believe like, being macho and like yelling and shit is like to be a man. Some believe that being a man is, being the ultimate nice guy and, trying to do everything for a woman. Some believe it's just being calm, for that matter, being a sense of calm, being a sense of like peace and all of that for those around you. So I mean, there's many perspectives of that. So I believe that's commonly like a big hurdle. Am I doing it? And then that question that I believe most males and even parents and I think a lot of us, but I'll just say for this particular topic, it's like, am I doing enough? Is what I'm doing enough? Am I man enough? That question with trying to better yourself on a day-to-day basis, such as what I try to do. Not because I'm not enough. I definitely did feel that way, and I think there's a part of my wounded inner child that kind of still feels like he's not enough. But just working to be the best version of yourself every day, and each day takes a new best. So, like, all right, am I doing enough? Was I enough in that moment? I believe that people that value how they carry themselves, that's something that they do. But yeah, I find that to be a big hurdle, challenge as far as like, are we carrying ourselves as a man? You know what I'm saying? Just depending on where you come from, like what's considered to be a man to this group of people might not be what this group of people believes a man is, and we all have our preferences, and the women will definitely show that based off of what we see people around us, the type of men that they end up with, whether they resent them later on. But these are those are the preferences that they initially had. But I look at that as as the biggest hurdle or challenge for men today is just figuring out what it even means to be a man in general. How do you nurture a positive view of yourself in an environment where not everyone supports you? Well, when you're in a position, when I'm in a position to where I'm around a lot of negative people and I have no way of getting away from them, like let's say it's a family vacation or family or friend vacation, or at work, like you're at work and you have to work with someone who constantly is a negative Nancie. They find the negative in every situation. They play victim. They huff and puff. They do attention-seeking behavior. They're never satisfied. What I find to do and how do I nurture a positive view is remembering that I can only control me. So the practice of stoicism is commonly what I like to do. Is I practice stoicism in a sense of focusing on what is in your control, and focusing on what's in your control and not being concerned with anybody else around you. I mean, it's not my job to fix that person. I thought that was innately my job, was to fix people around me that were so caught up in their own negative viewpoints on stuff, and it was my job to make them see. It's my ego right there, you know what I'm saying? Thinking that you're that important, that it's your job to do it. No, it's not. They're just as human as you are. In conversation, you might share some stuff that kind of puts you in that positive, can put you in a positive perspective or something, but it's really not. I would learn over time. You're gonna die trying to save people. You're really going to kill yourself trying to save others. and to get them to understand life how you see it. And yeah, we can tell them as much as we want, but they're gonna have to figure it out for themselves. And I think that's key. I think that's key point, is for them to figure it out by themselves. I mean, you can be the influence and lead by example, live by example. But as far as taking it upon yourself that you're going to be the one to fix them, no. Let that person sit in whatever they're sitting in. You know, that's my mentality now. But when I'm around that, I just, I tune people out. You can go to hell by yourself. You know, if that's what you want to do, if you want to look at life from a negative view, and just because you're filled with so much pain and you want to project that, by all means, you can go to hell by yourself. All right. I've already been through hell, and who knows, I might be in hell at that given moment, but you go through it. You don't sit in it. So if you want to sit in hell, by all means, just the perspective of what hell, can be, you know what I mean? As far as like just constantly negative, do what you do, but to see life from a perspective of abundance versus that of scarcity. Focus on what you do have versus what you don't. And I know that I've certainly had many moments throughout my life where I've saw things from the negative side. I focused solely on what I didn't have. I was upset because I didn't have this particular lifestyle. I didn't have this. My family doesn't do these things that this other family does and whatnot. But it just shows that entitlement, and I'm not entitled to anything. And so it's like, all right, let's just lose these expectations, because you have no control over everybody. You don't have any control over anybody but yourself. So it takes away a lot of that stress when you let go of trying to be everything to everyone, as if that was what you were, told to do. But you choose to do it after a while when you become like an adult. I mean, it might have been the case for you as a kid. You've been raised to cater to the emotions around you, and your emotions didn't matter. You fall to the back. But now you're an adult, and now you can choose how much you put on your plate. And it's not your duty to take care of other people, other grown people. Now your kids, of course, that's one thing. But as far as like other grown people around you, it is not your job to cater to their, it's not your job to cater to their emotions, to their insecurities, to them projecting their pain. No, it's okay. You have your own boundaries, you have your own interests, you have your own things that you want to do, and you can do that. So I like to, continue to focus on what is in my control, and so having that positive view, focusing on, it's like it's not that you don't recognize the negative shit, you just choose not to let it consume you. And some of us can be consumed, and we just feel like somebody's coming to save us. You feel entitled to such things, and it's like, all right, all I gotta do is just sit and wait, and then things are gonna change for me. No, you have to. Nothing changes until you change. That is, Jim Rohn is very big about that. It's like nothing's going to change in your life until you decide to change. If you want to sit in the toxicity of your life, and you think something is going to magically come by and it's just going to change, no, the cycle is going to continue until you break it. And it's tough, but some of us have to hear it. We have to hear it and go through it really to see that nothing's going to change until I change, until I make a decision that I'm going to change. And if you don't, then you're going to get the same hand dealt to you. Wondering, you get the same deck of cards and wondering why you keep getting the same 5 cards. Nothing changed. You didn't change the cards that were dealt, but you have the power to do so. You have the power to make change in your life. Now, it's going to shake some people up. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people that are relying upon you doing the same things that you've been doing. But when you start doing shit for yourself, sometimes you're going to piss some people off. You really are. You're going to piss some people off. They're used to you being a certain personality, but then when you decide to do something better for you, they benefited from that personality, so they get upset because they no longer feel that control that they thought they had over you. And that's not your problem, you know. You're more so, your focus is to better yourself. So when you're around negative environments, just remember what lies in your power. That's it. What's in your control is your power. That's your focus. Your focus is like what you can do. You know, what control do you have on a situation? There's nothing you can do about your boss that refuses to be kind. You know, you have no control over that, but you can control how you respond to them. You control if you let it get to you, and it's up to you. That's totally up to you. Nothing, if it's not physical, you have control over it. Somebody can say some hurtful things to you, but if you don't agree to it, and if you don't believe it, it won't affect you. Now, it's challenging because a lot of us are trained to respond to when people say something towards us. Like, our ego is just ready to defend us. But why do we have to care? We really don't have to care as much as we believe our ego wants us to. So I look at, that's a way, you know, that's how you nurture a positive view when you're in a negative environment. You don't have to respond to anything. Everything is a choice response. As far as what a person says to you, what they try to do to you, you don't have to respond to them. Focus on yourself. You know, there's enough life to go around, as I like to say. There's enough life to go around that you don't have to indulge in people who try to project their, you know, insecurities and pain onto you. They're just sleepwalking in their pain, and you're an innocent bystander. So have grace, but have boundaries when you deal with people like that. But that's how I nurture a positive view in a negative environment. What is the one Michael Jackson moment that made you a fan for life? The Michael Jackson moment that made me a fan for life would be watching Michael Jackson Moonwalker. I must have watched that 100 times by myself and at least 50 times with my cousin Richard. As we were coming up, you know, being very much big Michael Jackson fans. And there's this one scene where the kids were dressed up as Michael Jackson and them on the Bad video, and it's called Batter or whatever. But watching that, I was like, man, I wanted to do that. That'd be really cool to act like Michael as a kid, and they had everything decked out. The video was kind of similar, the original video, but I just thought it was super cool to see kids, which I thought were my age. They were way older, like 7 years older than me. Some even more, you know, 7 to 10 years older than me, performing Michael Jackson Bad. And I remember being a kid, and you know how like they say, Romy, do that little dance for me or whatever. And I remember doing that scene at the end of the Way You Make Me Feel video when they're like humping the floor and shit. So I would I'd be at cookouts at my grandma's house, and I'd be doing that on the living room floor. And stupid shit that you think about when you're a kid. But yeah, that would be the one moment that made me a Michael Jackson fan for life, when I saw the kids portraying Michael Jackson in the Bad video. What messages did you receive about being a man when you were growing up? Well, initially, the concept of a man doesn't cry, so do everything you can. You don't be a punk. That's commonly what you heard I would say around my community and stuff like that. Don't act like a punk. Don't be a punk crying and all that stuff. If you act like a punk, like it come time to getting on roller coasters and you crying because you don't want to go upside down because you've never had it done. Man, Rome, you acting like a punk. I'm not a punk, that typical shit, like staying up late. I don't want to stay up late, or trying to watch this scary movie. All these unimportant, looking back challenges that you go through as a young person, thinking that you have to do this so that you can be accepted. You can be considered one of the big boys, or one of the guys and stuff like that. Listening to your cousin and your uncle talk about the sexcapades that they had that night or that day, and thinking that, oh, you know what? That's what it's about. That's what's about being a man. Being able to say that you were to get the pussy, basically. That's what these concepts were of like being a man early on. Not something that not the logical stuff, not the more in-depth means of what a man is to be, but a man is to work. That's for sure. That was certainly, if there was anything drilled home, is that a man works. And a man, like, we hear all the time, like in Medea films, like a man who does not work does not eat and stuff, but there's that whole concept of putting in the effort. I said, I don't recall the time where I've ever heard, my father complain about having to work. He just did it. I was a little bit different. I was a little bit more entitled and spoiled in my Air Force career, but I never heard him complain about working. He just did, and it would be odd hours a lot of times. So I knew that in what I got indirectly, it wasn't necessarily said to me, but indirectly understanding that a man is to work. So to put in that effort, to get up, whether it's 4 a.m, whether it's 5, whether it's 6, whatever the hours are set, you make sure that you're there for work. So a man meant that you work. A man meant to pay his child support and take care of his kid. That was the mentality that my understanding was. That was my biggest fear too. Becoming a young parent is like, I don't want to go to jail. That's all I could think about. I thought about like, if you don't pay your child support, you're going to go to jail. So that used to be like one of my biggest fears, is like, I don't want to ever be in a position to where it's like I didn't financially take care of my kid, and that's what I focused on. I focused on, all right, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get the money, and then whatever you need the money for, whether that's to the mother of my child, my parents when they took care of her, or whoever, whatever you need, I want to be in a position to where I'm able to facilitate that. And so those were like a lot of messages that I got early on, like I said, early on in life. And also a man is to, I learned that one, it was prom night, man. And I learned that a man is to pay the bill. I got, one of my friends' parents, woman, she was like, because I didn't eat anything, I was broke, I didn't have anything. But she got on me because I did not pay for my prom date's meal at IHOP. Tore into me, you know what I'm saying? I never really kind of, experienced that before, but I understood it later on. Maybe not a fan of the delivery that was given, but I understand that later on, to like what it means to court. That doesn't mean like all the time. Any woman that values you and knows that like you have no problem trying to pick up the bill, any woman of value will from time to time be like, you know what, I got that shit. And early on, me as a man, in my own insecurity, I wouldn't allow that. I would throw a fit if a woman tried to pay for the bill. But it's just understanding the appreciation of it, for you doing what you do. This is a way of showing that appreciation for you, and it took some growth with that. It's part of getting old and being indifferent about things and not honing it into what a man should be type shit, having those insecurities kind of dissolve when you believe like, all right, cool, this is what it is. Because I couldn't see myself in a situation where a woman pays everything for me, man. Like, I wouldn't even, that to me, I just wouldn't feel comfortable with that. I wouldn't be comfortable being with a woman who paid for every fucking thing. Like, she pays when we go out to eat. She pays for the vacation. She pays whatever, she does everything. I wouldn't feel, I wouldn't feel okay with it. For lack of better words, I wouldn't feel okay with a woman paying for every fucking thing like that. That's just what I believe. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's more of it's a give and take, but I lead type thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, for me, it's not 50-50, because we're never going to be equals. We're just not going to be equals, and that's not like I'm better than you type thing. It's just the way that the world is designed. It's the way it's the way things in life go. You know what I mean? A child and a parent, a child is not equal to a parent. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a parent's job to lead that kid in some way, shape, or form. At work, you have a boss and you have subordinates, and even in your friend group, you got the one that tends to make the decisions, and everybody else tends to go along with it. Like, there's hardly ever a time to where there's that type of equality. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a better than, it's just like, it's a lack of equality. Like, I don't believe that women feel treated equal here in America, or definitely not overseas. I don't believe black people are treated equally in America. I don't believe Latin people, white women, Asian women in general, they're not treated equal. Men, some men are not treated equal to other men. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's this whole idea of 50-50 is an illusion, and it just sounds good. It does sound good, but somebody has to lead. And if anybody's going to lead in a relationship, I believe that a man is to do that. That's just me. In my mentality with that. And whatever anyone does, it's not to shit on you by any means. I'm not shaming you by any means. I'm referring for what's a preference for my life, not for yours. But it's no right and wrong thing. I'm not saying what I'm doing is right, and I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong, and vice versa. What I'm saying is that this is the preference for my life, and how I choose to carry myself with that. And it's just more so that respect for really respect for the feminine, man, is to kind of build myself up enough to where that I can be there to provide for the feminine to the best of my ability. That's what I believe one of the duties of man, in my mind, that I've made for myself. There's no book on it. It's just something I decided, that I'm going to take care of the feminine. Now, as far as like I said, when it comes to the masculine, you're on your own. No one helps men. So why would anybody help you if you act like you got it? Just a thought. You carry yourself like, I got it. You operate, and I'll do my own thing and all that stuff. Do that. I just understand you got it. And when you got it, you got it. But those messages, about, like I said, being a man is more so like, don't be a punk, don't cry. Don't be afraid of confrontation. Don't be afraid of scary movies. Don't run from fights. And I became the funny guy because I did not want to get in a fight. I was definitely avoiding confrontation like a motherfucker as a kid. Just being that afraid, trying to be the ultimate nice guy. It's like, oh, I'll nice my way out of this because I don't want to get hit. It's what happens when you're not taught these things. But these are the messages that, and the mindset that I would have early on. But it was about course, getting the girls, and wasn't taught about love. Wasn't taught anything about love, you know, like not in a healthy form. It was like, oh, you know, a man is to get a girl and to have sex with them. And it's not like I was out here just slinging shit early on, like before, you know what I'm saying, before graduation. That was not the case, man. I was very much one of the boys from like American Pie, like that. We talked about a lot of shit, but we wasn't doing shit. You know, we might have toyed around, foreplay stuff, but there was never like, nobody was getting slashed every other day, weekend, none of that shit was going down. That would come later on in life once you learn more about, you know, opposite sex and love and what is love and what is not love, you know. So but a lot of those messages, man, obviously, you know, had a part in the events that would occur throughout my life, and not always for the best. Not always the best decisions made as a man. And the beauty of living life and be able to live life this long is to look back at some of the mistakes. You can say some of these things you've done were mistakes, and you can have regret, but what good would regret do? You don't get that. You don't get you today without whatever you went through. And it's just accepting that, accepting the fact that you did do those things. You made some decisions that led to certain consequences in your life, and just accept that. Like amor fati. That was probably one of my favorite messages for a man as an adult, was amor fati. Accept things as they are and not what you want them to be, and dealing with life as it comes. You know, knowing that not everybody's gonna love what you do, not everybody's gonna approve of what you do, but you have to be okay with what you do, with the decisions you make, everything you choose to do, and accept that. Do my best to kind of practice that on a day-to-day basis. But anyway, those are the messages that I say that I received kind of like in my upbringing of what it was to be a man, as far as who I was around, the community I was around, and what we were going to do, you know, coming up as a young boy, at learning different things and not understanding the concept of how to build a family or what have you. Not in a healthy sense, you know, but figuring things out along the way. Learning from your peers, man. That's one thing I can say. What I love about a lot of my my peers, my brothers, really, I love watching them create their family. Some of them are, you know, some of them are healthy, like families. Some of them built healthy families. Some definitely taught you what to avoid. You know what I mean? And that's just all of us. We're here to teach what we want in life. We're here to teach what we don't want in life. But there's a lot of the messages I say that was kind of taught on what it was to be a man growing up. So that concludes this episode. Thank you again for listening. Thank you again for watching. Thank you again for subscribing, commenting, sharing on your timeline, social media, with your friends, through text, group chats, whatever it is that keeps the conversation going, to give a different perspective. And maybe you agree with some, maybe you disagree. All in all, the conversation is had. But I'm Romeo Mac. This is Ask Rome, and I'm out. Good night, kids.